Welcome in to Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, the only podcast on the Marshland Media Empire conglomeration experience of the mind, body, soul, and toes, all 10 of them, and an 11th if you're nasty, that breaks down episode by episode, beat by beat, and detail sweat by sweat. Lucha Underground, we are on episode 18 of season 3, Evil Rising. And my name is Sean. Hello. With me, as always, is James. James, hello.
Hello. Hola.
Okay.
Buenos dias.
Muy bien.
All right. Hell yeah. Sean,
all right.
welcome to truly, officially, the first episode of Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling that will be getting the straight to Patreon treatment, 0 edits.
Let's go.
I have too much stuff to do before we have to travel, and it's not good. This is why I don't like traveling around Christmas.
Oh, Bobby, I'm so sorry. You're gonna be okay. I believe in you to survive the holidays with your head intact.
Nicole and I will be later today recording a Magical Meatball Girls for the Patreon, a pilot episode of it. Another one where I was like, yeah, we could either do Engage with Nicolas Cage, and Nicole's like, we don't have time for that. I was like, okay, then we could do like another Slayers movie for Magical Meatball Girls, if you don't know the concept of that. We get really stoned and watch Magical Girl anime. But then it's like, well, that's too long. I was like, what if we just, we'll do it in like 2 years on the main show when we finally start doing that. Let's just do the first episode of Cardcaptor Sakura. And Nicole's like, yes, let's do that. And I'm so excited because I'm more than halfway through the manga. I've been blitzing through this. I read a full like hardcover chunky boy in a single day. It's so good. I love it so much. So I am extremely excited. We're doing that. We're going to get stoned, record, and then eat a bunch of Chinese food tonight.
Hell yeah. That sounds lovely.
Uh-huh.
And, I think that's good advice for anyone out there during the holidays or not during the holidays. We all get these feelings of stress when we just kind of feel overwhelmed by things. Even things we want to do, things we are excited about can still overwhelm us. And maybe now is a good time, especially during these holidays, to take a step back, get really fucking high, and consume a shit ton of Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yeah, that's what we should have done for Goosemas, Sean. Instead of we had a blast.
We had a lovely Goosemas. And you're all about to have a lovely episode of Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, breaking down Season 3, Episode 18 of Lucha Underground, Evil Rising.
Oh, dang. And speaking of evil Vampiro, I know, guys, I have been lapse on the comic book, the Vampiro Rockabilly Apocalypse. That is because goddamn Diamond Distributor just is messing up all these indie stuff, so it's always late. I have issues 2 and 3. I will be reviewing them on next episode.
Lovely. I cannot wait, because Vampiro is my Cardcaptor Sakura?
Sakura? Come on, get out of here, Buffalo.
Boy. I felt that in my frozen bones.
That Mil Muertes, you know that guy?
Hold on now.
Dario Cueto.
Which
you have said before.
I'm sure, because that's his name. Dario.
Katrina.
Okay, that's just Southern. That's not even, I don't know what that is.
You don't have, New York doesn't have Southern accents like Michigan does.
I mean, Buffalo, no, that's true.
Yeah.
I know I've gone into detail about coming home from school one day and seeing like a Confederate flag in a New York, like Buffalo, New York neighborhood, and you're like, well, you're not even close. There's nothing there.
There was this shit-heeled dude who lived next to like my first serious girlfriend when I was in middle school, and their truck had like a decal. So like they had to go to a place. They had to get this custom made. It was a decal that also had like little dots in it so you could see out the back when you were driving, so it wasn't illegal. It was a pickup truck, and like a nice pickup truck, like at that time new. So they wanted people to know that, one, yeah, we do have money, but two, we hate people who are different than us because it was just a Confederate flag. And as a huge juggalo. I was like, someone needs to smash that. Like
someone needs to burn this rebel flag. And by burn this rebel flag, I mean burn this whole truck to the sky.
Oh, yeah. Put some sugar in the exhaust with a banana in there, Home Alone style.
Hey, yo, it sounds cute until all your shit gets fucked.
Put sugar in their radiator oils.
Most of your plan involves sugar because you don't need sugar anymore. So you have all this sugar. You got to do something with it. Yeah. How about some beneficial terrorism?
Yeah, go back in time. If I could, if I had a time machine, it would actually petty style. It might be me going back in time and just, as an adult, beating the shit out of my bullies.
Hey, okay. Well, how old are your bullies?
Oh, they'd be like 14, 15, 16.
Okay, I was about to get nervous, but if you have a time machine, it's a really good escape.
Yeah.
Like, you yes, this is a problem, but you're out of there before it becomes one.
Yeah, go Luigi style on 3D print some shit.
Well, no, now hold on. You know what? Now,
yes, baby.
This has to be the new rule. If you're gonna go back in time to do some, at least on paper, problematic shit, like beat up your 14-year-old bullies as a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
You need to counterbalance that with shooting cold dead in the street at least one billionaire.
Okay, all right.
That's how you level the karmic scales.
All right, okay.
That guy just beat up a bunch of 14-year-olds? That is an adult man.
Yeah.
Oh, he just shot a billionaire in the face. All right. You know what?
Yeah.
It evens out.
You doing thirst traps for Luigi yet?
Now, is that like... I'll say no.
You don't know this trend? Like, women fucking are creaming themselves over Luigi.
Are they making thirst traps? Everyone's creaming themselves for Luigi. Oh, okay, nice. I didn't see the thirst traps. I apologize.
Oh, man.
I have been too busy creaming myself for Luigi to pay attention to what other people are doing.
I thought you were going to transition and be like, I've been creaming myself too much over the matches in today's episode.
No,
that seemed like something you would do.
No, I'll find the next transition, or it'll be a sloppy mess. Either way. You know who else is a sloppy mess?
Who?
Oh, them billionaires after Luigi gets done with them.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Vampiro now that he's like a or a zombie or some shit.
Yeah, that would have been cool too. I didn't.
I hope this is the game you keep just like asking me questions and it seems like it's going to be a transition into the show and then you just don't.
I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's gonna be a game any further today. I hope it's a game that I'd never do again in this episode, but like 3 months from now, we're doing a completely different podcast, and that's when I bring it back.
Oh, I'd love that.
Okay, great. You'll never see it coming.
Craig Euler would be just cheering. He's the new Sharna. We're now giving credit to improvise. Okay, real quick, guys.
Truth and Comedy was written by Craig Euler.
Yes, hell yeah, dude. But he did nothing wrong like those two people who did write the book.
Nice.
Craig is a teacher of improv here in Chicago. And you were taught by him. I believe Torchyberry was taught by him.
I didn't know Torchy was also taught by him.
Yes, I've brought up Craig, and Torchy knows of him. I just assume that he taught her because I work with him 1 to 2 times a week. And 1+ times a week, especially on Saturdays, someone will come in and be like, "Hey, are you Craig Euler?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "You taught me improv." And this week, someone did that. I started laughing a little from like a little bit of way. Like I just overheard the conversation. And then another person was like, "Yeah, he taught me improv too." And I'm like, "What? No. We can't be having this, Craig."
And then you look out of the store window and it quickly turns into an angry mob of people. You think it's a very nice thing because improv, it's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. Improv can teach you both about communication with other people as well as about yourself, what's going on in your own soul. It's not therapy, but it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be that, but no, it's an angry mob because improv has ruined these people's lives. I gave you $3,000 to become a better improv comedian, and I can't read a goddamn line because improv is unscripted. I didn't know that. I thought Whose Lines Did Anyway had the best writers on television. Now I'll never make it in TV. And if that is you, get out of the mob. That's on you. Improv is a very important skill for acting.
Yeah.
But Regardless, I would like to shout out all the angry mobs of people forming against improv schools in this country.
But form for the right reasons.
I appreciate the energy, but how about we form an angry mob against David Zaslav and HBO Max for what they're doing to the industry?
I was saying, like, form mobs for, like, the right reasons of forming mobs against these improv schools. You know, the atrocities they've committed towards the students.
Yeah, that's also true. Form more angry mobs against Sharna Halpern. If we haven't said it today, have you considered forming an angry mob against Sharna today?
And create happy congregations for Craig Euler.
Yeah. Get some HCs out for Craig. And maybe after you're done celebrating Craig Euler, you take that happy congregation, you congregate around the television back in 2016, and you watch episode 18 of season 3 of Lucha Underground. You can happily congregate around the episode titled Evil Rising.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to do the same thing where you don't actually transition and you were going to say, in 2016, congregate around the television and watch Hillary Clinton say, how about you Pokemon go to the polls?
Oh, I didn't know we were going to keep... well, we could talk about that one as well.
No, how is Puma alive? They're like, whoa, he's alive? Yeah, how is he?
How is Puma alive? I don't think anyone's died from their buried alive matches yet.
No, he did.
He did that. Well, I'm trying to think, because who won all the buried... Phoenix lost a buried alive match, but he's a Phoenix. Oh. Part of his thing is that he comes back to life.
Also, Mill lost a buried alive match versus an earthquake.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I was going to say, Mill also lost a buried alive match against Phoenix, in addition to the earthquake, but that's Mill's whole thing, is that he died, and he is a bit of a zombie. I guess we can. I mean, we see Vampiro. Okay, so here's my kayfabe. Ready? How is Puma alive? Is this a real question? Because I'm gonna answer it like a real question. I think it's Vampiro.
Yeah.
I think, the way we see Vampiro bring Puma back, it's not like Vampiro never wore the makeup the way he's wearing it with Puma now. Right?
I thought he did when he was hanging out with Pentagon Jr.
I don't remember him wearing them. I could be wrong. Maybe he was. I didn't remember him wearing the makeup like that. Regardless, and you hear people touch on it all the time, Vampiro's into dark magic. Yeah. This is kind of what he does. So while Phoenix had Phoenix magic, Mill had Katrina magic and death magic overall, I'm pretty sure Puma's relying on Vampiro magic.
Okay.
And that's why he's alive again.
Real quick, let's go back to that one guy, Pentagon Jr. Did anyone ever call him PJ?
No.
Let's start calling Pentagon Jr. PJ.
He doesn't even go by Pentagon Jr. anymore.
What's he go by?
Well, he had it changed because Pentagon Jr. was owned by AAA.
Okay.
And he's been working for them for a long time. So he was technically he was Penta El Cero Miedo in AEW. But that contract ended a little while ago. They're teasing him for WWE.
Whoa.
I know. He's signed there. It's a whole story we're not going to get into, unless you want to.
No, because I know it ends up going to Conan, and you don't know enough information about him to speak on it.
It does. I'm not gonna badmouth Conan, but he is involved in this story.
I know, because you've touched on it and you didn't know enough about it.
I know more now. No, I know more. Let's talk about it. Well, no. So Penta is done with his AEW contract. Uh-huh. He's officially signed to WWE.
Damn, that's insane.
It's very exciting. They started they got the little zeros, just as a symbol is flashing on television. His brother is also trying to join him in WWE. However, some of that news may have been leaked before his contract was up. And there was there's some tricky stuff. There's probably some contract stuff. Some of it might be fair. Some of it might be gross. I don't know enough about contract litigation to dig into that, because to be fair, this is not a legal podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You would know that if you followed up with the Dominator storyline.
This is also an illegal podcast because throughout this entire time, I have embedded the only editing I'm doing, because I do it every episode, is instrumental tracks of the Beatles. It makes it illegal. We can't put this out. We don't have the rights to that.
We can't put this out at all. Ringo Starr is gonna fucking kill us. It's gonna be the most dangerous game, but we're gonna be hunted by Ringo Starr, which is my nightmare.
I would also say the thing that Trevor Moore said you can't say legally, but I'm not doing any editing, so I would actually have to bleep that out to say we are an illegal podcast because, and then say that thing.
Yeah, we also weren't very shy about how we feel about guns and billionaires.
Oh, yeah, but that dude's not a billionaire, okay? Like, he needs to shut that shit up. He has so many legal fees, all of that. Even before then, he wasn't one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, wait, what were we talking about? Oh,
no, we're talking about Vampiro.
Okay. You don't want me to finish about the Lucha Brothers in WWE?
Oh, well, it's going to happen, but you said we're not a legal podcast. We don't know.
But we do know that Phoenix, this has been reported on. Phoenix started, kind of went on Twitter, and it really was when Conan, I knew you were right, he was involved. Conan went on Twitter a little bit, was kind of the guy that kicked off talking about the Lucha Bros in WWE before their contract was up. Mm-hmm. So it created a lot of hype, around the internet, and everyone kind of knew it was coming before anyone should have known it was coming.
Yeah. You have to drink.
Oh, that was Pissmas, which is already out and available in your favorite Mostly Speaking Sentai podcast feed. Pissmas 2024.
Yeah, and if we said come, we had to drink, and then Sean made a ruling that when I said, yeah, he comes into the house, you said, oh, you have to drink because of that.
I wouldn't call it a ruling. I just thought it would be funny, and everyone agreed.
Yeah, of course, because people love to shit pile on me.
No, people just love. That's the game. No. Is if you get a chance to make you drink, you drink.
Yeah, no one was drinking that much, and no one was peeing that much.
No, it was. To be fair, it was always you. And then Georgie caught some. Yeah.
Our toilet was like, oh, I'm so hungry. Where's all the pee-pee?
I didn't know your toilet talked.
Yeah, it started.
Oh shit! Kind of like that one from the first Look Who's Talking movie.
Yeah, also from the second Captain Underpants book.
Which one was the second book?
Attack of the Talking Toilets.
Oh, thank you so much. You know what? I should have looked at the titles. I might have been able to guess. Just mayhaps have been able to guess.
This one.
Hi, how you doing? I remember that one. It's been a long time since I've read Captain Underpants. I didn't realize you had the full color version.
I wish I didn't. I don't like the full color versions. But man, this was the first one I read. I kept taking it out at the school library to the point where my mom was like, next book fair, I will just buy you the first 4. And that's all that was out at the time. And I was like, gah!
How many How many are there? Like 5?
11, I think.
I think I only read the first 4.
Dude, I want, Robbie from Hit It and Crit It and I were going to do a Captain Underpants podcast. If you want to hop in on it, I'll buy all of them. We have them all at the store. I'll buy them for you so you can read along with us. It'd be fantastic.
Honestly, I would not mind revisiting Captain Underpants, podcast or no podcast.
It's so good. And it gets gay at the end, okay?
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, that was the one thing I was always reading Captain Underpants, wondering when does it get gay?
Oh, it does, fuckers.
All right, great. You know what else gets gay? A little bit of wrestling under the covers. We're doing it over the covers, though. So it's still gay, but just more out in the open.
Yeah.
What am I trying? This is the worst transition I've made.
Well, speaking of Phoenix, we get a little inkling of Phoenix because first, we get a semblance. Mill is talking to Katrina and is saying hey, Vampiro's donezo. He brought Puma back. I'm taking him out. So they're setting up Mill Vampiro. Oh my God. Fan me, guys, because it's getting sweaty in here.
It's very exciting. Yeah, I was like, when do they suggest that Vampiro is the reason Puma comes back? Oh, it was this episode in this first segment. Yeah. He toys with dark magic.
Katrina leaves, and then that F-boy, what's his name?
Jeremiah Crane as Katrina's walking down the hall.
And he's like, oh, see, though, do you still love him more than me, don't you? You love him.
Literally opens up with, did you see me? Did you see me? The most puppy dog fuckboy, sad boy shit I've ever heard.
And she's like, I don't love him. And it's like, yeah, she loves Phoenix.
Yeah. Interesting. Probably going, I don't know. Yeah, it could be Phoenix. Could be Dario.
No, oh, no.
Yo, I'm saying.
No one loves that man, okay?
I love that man. Hold on now. Wait a minute.
No, you would want to be in a relationship with that man.
No, I don't want to be in a relationship with a man, so no.
Oh, but, okay, let's say a woman with these same aspirations that at the turn of a dime, he'd be like, oh, yeah, hey, when you go to sleep tonight, not going to tell you, but I'm telling you this right now because you can watch this episode later on. I put the soul of a god inside your body, and your only purpose in life was to be a conduit for this god.
On paper, that sounds romantic as hell.
No, it doesn't.
In practice,
this is okay.
In practice, it's not. Hold on now, mister.
Okay.
In practice, it is not.
All right.
And I do not want to say, listen, Daria who is the rule 43 is anything on the internet could be gender.
Rule 63 or 64. I forgot which one it is.
These are the rules of the internet.
It's 63 because I put that in. I said Rule 63 Senpai. I think talking about it's a horrorcore song. It was technically talking about it. My father figure in the song, but
Great. And real quick, if you remember,
great.
No, because I just want to remind everyone: if you remember what the rules of the internet are, drink a glass of water and do a stretch. You're old. Because rules of the internet, what, 2008 maybe?
Oh,
probably sooner.
I thought you were gonna say take a drink and stretch that putty of yours because you're on the internet, brother.
I'm not gonna tell. I don't need to tell people on the internet to jack off, James. They're already doing it.
Yes, our voices.
Yes, and thank you so much for that. We appreciate you're all very good boys and girls and non-binary people.
Yay.
3, 2, 1. Now, James, I was hoping you would transition for me out of that countdown.
Oh, I thought you were saying 3, 2, 1, like allowing them to, finish.
Yeah, but I didn't want to actually let them finish. I wanted you to jump in so we could keep edging them till the end of the podcast. Because if they come before the podcast ends, they fall asleep.
A friend of mine told Nicole and I won't say his name, that when
good story coming.
Someone was giving him a blowjob and before he came, starts, finishing with, jacking off. You don't want cum in your mouth. And right before he came, she just pushed her thumb on the top so it just stayed we thought it was so funny. And he's like, guys, it's not funny, man.
That sounds like it hurt so bad.
Probably.
You can't answer this question, and I don't think your friend could even answer this question. I just kind of want to ask this person, is that something she does regularly, or is that something I saw it in a video? You only live once. You gotta try new things. I'm so curious where that decision, when she brewed that in her mind.
I believe it's. This is how I will characterize it. I think it was overstepping a boundary with scamp behavior.
Me? Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's did it actually hurt?
He seemed to not enjoy it.
But did it hurt? I guess, yeah, it's a boundary. Yeah, edging is kind of a boundary if you don't really have that discussion up top.
Well, this also isn't edging. This is you came, but it's clogged up.
Oh, he did. I thought that stopped him from coming.
Oh, no. It just pushed up but couldn't go out.
Oh, that sounds. I'm not a doctor. I am as much a doctor as I am a lawyer, which is to say, I am not. But that sounds like the word rupture can get brought up in that situation. Yeah. That's my fear.
He hasn't been able to come since, so maybe it did do something. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm lying. I'm a little scamp
You're
as
a
well.
Scamp. Oh, well, we can scamper over to the desk now if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Or Matt and Vampiro hype up the main event. It is Mack versus Johnny for the Lucha Underground Championship.
But is it?
We'll get to it. Mack, who is best friends with the former champ, Sexy Star. Johnny, the cad who stole the title from her. I love this. It's like maybe I don't know if it's just because I've been watching wrestling or because I just like a little bit of. I like when stories are more than just the surface level. So it's like there is a story here for the championship, right? That's given. That's written. That's like not like almost like inscribed into their bones. Like, but to be a wrestler in this company, you want to be the champion of this company.
To be or not to be a wrestler.
That is the desire for championship gold. So that's like that story is in there inherently. But there's this extra story of Mack wanting to knowing Johnny's a bad person, watching this bad person hurt his friend, and wanting to stand up for her as well as himself. And I love that. I love those little bonus stories. That's like the word. Where real character is getting dug into. Also, Mack is just fucking sweet. I'm excited for the main event. James, I'll assume by your stunned silence and reverent silence, you were also excited for this main event at this point of the night.
Yeah,
cool.
I guess. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I was excited for it until we find out what happens later.
Yeah, I mean, I was still pretty stoked, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just excited. Speaking of Sexy Star, hey, let's check her out in the ring right now. Opening match for the evening will be Sexy Star versus Mariposa. This has been brewing for weeks. We've been talking about someone's been leaving tarantulas for Sexy Star to keep finding. She believes it is Mariposa. Mariposa seems very confused. She's like, no, dude, that's not even me. Who could it be? Could it be Victoria, aka Tara, aka I fucking keep forgetting to look up this woman's real name. I know you're not editing it out. I'm telling the audience. Pretend I looked up her name. Thank you so much, audience, and thank you for listening. You can come in 3, 2. Match starts before it even starts. Sexy is bumping chest, getting into Mary's face before the bell even rings. And then as soon as it does, Sexy takes down Mary with the double leg and just starts beating the shit out of her. Like she's just like, it's one of those this could be this isn't a wrestling match. This is a fight. I'm sick of you. I believe you're the one terrorizing me with these tarantulas. Fuck you.
Real quick, do you mean the head bitch in charge, Queen Tara Victoria, a.k.a. Lisa Marie Varon?
I am Lisa Marie Varon. Thank you. Yes. Shouts out to Lisa Marie. You're awesome. I don't know if this is you with the tarantula in Lucha Underground. If not, I'm sorry I've been hyping you up for so many weeks. But I'm also not that sorry for hyping you up for so many weeks. It's a pleasure to talk about you.
She's know who it
listening
is.
To this. You know who this is?
Yeah, it's Hornswoggle, baby.
No, wait, what?
Yeah, he was the tarantula all along, just like the child of McMahon or something.
Yep, son of the illegitimate bastard son of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Hornswoggle. Yeah, you think so? But he's not the one leaving the tarantula. He is the tarantula.
What? Oh yeah, he's a shapeshifter in Lucha Underground.
Yep. That's honestly, there should be more shapeshifter characters in this show.
Oh yeah,
like at least one Shang Tsung who they have a match. You have a match scheduled with them, and then they come down to the ring, and it's fucking like Mill or like Mack or someone, and you're like, I don't know. There should be more shapeshifters in wrestling.
Or it's Drago out of, the mask and everything, so he's just a human, and then he changes, lights flash, and then, whoa, he's dragon now.
Oh shit, Animality style?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then someone should drop an arcade cabinet and then they're best friends. Friendship.
Oh, okay. I thought I was like dropping arcade cabinet on them. That's a fatality.
I have definitely told some jokes on here that are not good and are appropriately sad. I have never had to explain a joke like that and hear how sad it sounded like I did just now. Like I had when I said the word friendship and then heard those words come out of my mouth, I had an out-of-body experience of just how painfully unfunny and sad I looked right there.
You're so sad you're crying like you got babalitied.
Hey, yes.
See, people can follow that through line. Do they chuck arcade cabinets on people? to make friendships?
I thought it was a friendship. I forget whose it was, but an arcade cabinet falls down and crushes it. Maybe it is a fatality.
Yeah, because friendships, I thought, were a subversion of... I will look this up. You keep going with the episode.
And they should be, yeah. No, this is a Mortal Kombat podcast now, where if most friendships are a subversion of the fatality system, we're talking about Mortal Kombat, ways to finish matches. And I thought like there was one friendship where they just drop an arcade cabinet. This would be, maybe it is just a fatality though, that I confused with a friendship.
No, friendships were introduced on Mortal Kombat 2 in response to public controversy surrounding the gruesome fatality finishing moves.
But do you know the one I'm talking about, where an arcade cabinet falls on someone?
No, but I'll see who does that.
Okay.
I could also just list off all the ones everyone does.
We could. We were 30 minutes in, and we haven't even finished the first match.
I'll find out who does the arcade cabinet.
All right, I'll dig into s3e18 and Mariposa. A series of hair mirrors from s3e18. Like I said, real hot start from her. She's going all out on Mariposa. s3e18 Hurricane Rana's Mary out of the ring, Suicida flipping senton to the outside, big ol' thud, before slapping Mary around ringside. It takes a long time for Mary to kind of get an advantage, which she finally does after throwing s3e18 back first into Dario's office. And I love this spot. I don't know. Mary catches s3e18 like mid wheelbarrow. This is right in front of the announce desk. And just slams her head. I counted like 10 times into the announce desk. Like again, so she's kind of like. And when I say wheelbarrow, if you remember like wheelbarrow races, that's kind of the position. So imagine you're in a wheelbarrow race with your friends, celebrating a track and field day at your local grade school. But instead of, running a wheelbarrow race, they slam your face into an announce desk like 10 times.
It was so, I think this is so funny when they do this because, it's not like hitting, like taking their head with their hand and like slamming it in there. It's like you're a pendulum and just beating, or like on a clock tower when you bang hunchback style.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I love it. Oh, I loved it so much. And it's funny. It was also, I will say for me, at least the first 8 or 9, pretty violent. Like she doesn't hold back. She swings. And I was like that. And it's it's a weird, because at least when you do the overhead, you can kind of protect yourself. When you're swinging like a pendulum, you can't. It's a lot harder to protect yourself. So it was cool. Back into the ring, s3e18 escapes a butterfly effect. Oh, James has an answer.
Yes. Okay. So yes. Nightwolf does when doing a friendship in Mortal Kombat 3. He turns into Raiden, and then Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cabinet falls behind him, and then he raises his arms up, and electricity comes out, and some subtitles come up on the screen. It doesn't fall on anyone while the person's just still in a daze. It makes no. I guess it's to say hey, do you want to play Mortal Kombat? I don't know.
Why does he turn into Raiden to do it?
I don't either.
That's okay. Maybe we'll have to do. We're gonna do a podcast where we break down all of the fatalities and rate how much they make sense. The one where Jack turns into a giant foot, 10 out of 10. No notes. That's a spoiler.
Speaking of Mortal Kombat comics, someone on TikTok was like, you got any Mortal Kombat comics? Full. I was like, we don't have those. Look downstairs. We had quite a few. I brought them all up. I brought doubles of some, and Craig was like, why do you have doubles? And I was like, someone's going to buy these for Christmas. There's this one person, won't say their name just in case, they're not in the entertainment business like Craig is. He wants his name out there. So
yeah. Everybody whisper Craig Euler's name to your loved ones this Christmas season. He wants his name out there.
This customer, they are a regular. I know they are trying to collect all of the pre-Uncanny X-Men, before the Uncanny title got slapped on there. And we just got some of those in. I was like, hey, here are some. And he's like, oh, I don't have this one. I'm taking it. So I was like, awesome, cool. And then I was like, hey, we also have all these Mortal Kombat stuff. And he's looking at them and he goes, put them up front. I'll look at them later. And I go, you don't feel pressure to use. No. You know what I like. and I will be buying them. I was like, okay, all right. So immediately he bought all of the ones besides double. So I was like, hey, Craig, you know how I said someone would buy all of them? Yeah, so-and-so just did. He was like, oh, okay, all right. And he finally apologized to me for, Craig did, for saying like, hey, I'm sorry I dismissed Sonic comics because, yeah, people do eat those up just immediately. I was like, yeah.
Hell, it's not the who's the one author the author of Sonic that's kind of the
Ken
infamous.
Penders.
Yeah, are they Ken Penders?
I believe some of them were right when he started, but it was pre-Pender stuff.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, because I've never read the Ken Penders Sonic stuff, and if you don't know anything about Ken Penders Sonic lore, congratulations. You might not watch as many YouTube video essays as I do, and that can only be a good thing. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little terrified of Ken Penders Sonic comics.
Oh yeah,
like
you should check his new comic that's like using the Echidna stuff that he has the rights to. It's so bad. Like the art is disturbing. It's someday I'll do a podcast about it with Mohawk Johnson because we were talking about it and he's like, oh no. And I was like, I'll buy it and we'll talk about it. And he's like, don't give that man money. And I was like, no, we need to.
No, the only person you should be giving money to is these two workers. Wait, I got a better one. Speaking of needing money, it looks like Sexy owes money to Mariposa the way she's beating her face into this announce desk. Back into the ring after Sexy reverses the butterfly effect, takes over. Mariposa monster rages up, blocks a Sexy monkey flip, looks for a superplex, but Sexy blocks the superplex, dumps Mariposa off the top rope. So now it's just Sexy Star on the top rope, Mariposa down on the ground. Sexy Star hits a big old pair of double stomps. It's just like, which is just such a simple move. You just jump off the top rope and then your feet land on their chest and collapse your lungs.
I would like to know, wrestlers out there, how do you safely do a double stomp? I get it when like if someone's on all fours and they're like crawling, you kind of like slide down off their back. But if it's someone's stomach, like how do you do it?
I mean, safety is such an interesting question, and I would be curious to hear what like wrestlers have to say about it. Where there's like there are ways to do things safer than not, but this is also not stage combat, right? This is not stunt work. This is sometimes you just like you don't take the move as hard as you can. You see Finn Balor use the double stomp. It has been for a long time on WWE, which probably is the safest wrestling. I would hazard to guess as far as like. Specifically, safety is concerned. I would probably say they're among the safer. Like they've always worked a style that is more of a television show than it is a wrestling show. So like they do prioritize safety as much as you can for wrestling. Speaking as someone who's not a wrestler, I would love maybe one day we will book Conan and he'll be like, "Fuck no, man! JCW is the safest wrestling company. We've been saying that for years."
I mean, I've heard stories specifically from Son of Havoc, like, yeah, man, I almost like lost my life in a JCW ring because the one of the, what do you call them? The cables, the ropes. You idiot, James. The ropes. One of them like snapped.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That shit's so dangerous. I told you the match I saw where one of the ropes snapped, right?
Yeah, I think we've for sure talked about this before.
God, it was if you're wondering, it was Speedball Mike Bailey and the bounty hunter Brian Keith at Freelance here in Chicago. I'm not sure where the Freelance puts their wrestling matches. It's definitely online somewhere. It's a beautiful match where, like, in the opening third, the bottom rope snaps.
Ooh.
And it's very scary. It's very dangerous. But those two are very good. So it's kind of like an improv scene where something goes wrong and then it becomes the game for the rest of the set.
Yeah. Also,
it's like, it's so good.
This was championship wrestling before they changed it. It's probably extremely safe these days.
I'm sure.
For JCW.
Because they've been going for as long as they have. And you even see, like we talked before about, like, how different ICP is today as where they were, how they continue to evolve, seemingly as, like, people. and which is refreshing as hell. The only reasonable apology for being a shit talker in the 90s to early 2000s has come from Violent J.
Wait, what's the reasonable?
I think it was Violent J when his kid asked him like why you use so many like homophobic slurs in your lyrics that were very common in the 90s and 2000s, and like his response is like, because we were dumb and don't defend us.
Yeah,
like make us hold ourselves accountable. Pretty much. Like the only reasonable like apology or even like words towards that.
Yeah, and I used to think of it as kind of a cop out when Shaggy 2 Dope would say this, but it makes sense. Like he is like now in his 50s when he's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna still say it here and there, but I know it's wrong. But like it was part of my vernacular, and it's hard to like take things out of your vernacular. However, it's being phased out, and eventually one day it will just I will never say it again.
All right. I mean, hey, you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate it. At least you're acknowledging that you're doing the work. I can see that as a bit of a cop out for like kind of. Like, is it you admitting to do the work, or is it you sort of giving yourself an escape route when you say it again? And that comes down to your intentions. A question really only you can answer. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know. I'm not here. I don't think either of us are out here to like pass judgment on people. You know, it's mostly like just we live in this world and we believe in holding people accountable and, you know, giving flowers when people do hold themselves accountable, because that's the kind of positive reinforcement we want to see out here.
How many people like would it like in one space would it be to be like, well, we can't arrest anyone for saying this? To say that thing Trevor Moore said, like if at one moment 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 1 million people were to say that sentence.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably, here's the thing, you know, 10,000 people, 1 million people, and if it was just like in a space.
Yeah, but real quick, I bring this up because I want to start bringing that into my vernacular.
Okay, honestly, we probably should. Now,
now, only for a few more weeks is what I want to start bringing this into.
Second point, though, is that if two of those 10,000, 100,000 million people happen to have a podcast, and when they said it, it was recorded and then published to the public, they might go to prison forever.
Okay, no, but I'm saying like if we were all like on a Zoom call and we all said it, like how many people would have to be on that Zoom call to be like, we can't, like this was just them saying this. It's more like it becomes like a religious experience, a ritual, if you will. Like in Satanism does believe in like group thinking, that if enough people think it at the same time, we could will it to happen. And that's
James,
like, what's up?
If we call it a religious experience, it doesn't matter how many people are involved. We're all going to jail.
No, it's a religion. That's First Amendment rights, fuckers, and they believe in that wholeheartedly. Oh, you're going to cancel me for my First Amendment rights saying that thing Trevor Moore said we can't say?
You know what? Good point. Let them know. We're starting. This is what the Cloakening has turned into. If you're wondering what the Cloakening is, our religion dedicated.
Go listen to the first one.
Go listen to the first one, you sweet
The
bastards.
first one of what? Of the podcast.
Anything. Yeah. Go listen to the first moment a bird pushed an egg or some shit out of their cloaca.
That's what I would use a time machine for.
Hell yeah. By the way, Sexy Star won this match in 6 minutes. Sexy Star wins this match in 6 minutes and 52 seconds. After the match, Marty the Moth Martinez, a.k.a. Marty the Brother Martinez, because he is Mary Pose's brother, he comes down to check on his sister. You know, he picks her up. Hey, you okay? I love you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna choke slam you to your hell. Holy shit. Marty turns on Mary.
In this moment, I was like, okay, it looks like he's either going to kiss her or bring her to Slamtown. I was like, oh yeah, Slamtown it is.
I was shocked. I was shocked and like so invested until Matt Stryker says WTF on television into the microphone like some kind of boomer. God damn it. This moment was so cool until Matt Stryker literally said WTF.
No, YouTubers at the time were probably also saying that because you don't want to swear in a YouTube video in 2016.
Okay, fine. This isn't a YouTube though. This is a TV.
Yeah, you can't say that on TV. That Mark Burnett would say, we can't say that in Survivor. You can't say it here.
My point though is that it makes it sound like a YouTube video, which in 2016. There is a difference between a YouTube video and a TV show, a wrestling televised program. And I don't want my wrestling show, it sounds like a YouTube video, and I don't mean that in a good way. And, no, I'm sorry, Bomber Guy and all those other great YouTubers out there. Your production quality has come a long way since 2016. But I stand by what I say. Marty chokeslams Mariposa. I'm hoping, we talked about this before, that last time Mariposa wrestled Sexy Star, they didn't really go anywhere. Marty got into his thing with Killshot, and Mariposa was just kind of left floating. I have no idea what's coming, but I really hope it means more Mariposa matches and more stuff for her to dig into, because she's great. Even this match, she gets she's the, unquestionably the heel. She's the bad guy in this match. Mm-hmm. But people are on her side, and she looks amazing. She has a great match. I'm really hopeful for this Marty and Mariposa program.
I liked her more in TNA though.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean, to be fair, her putting on a burqa as a white woman from the Midwest aside, Awesome Kong is great. Going back watching, I forget her character's name in TNA, but going back and watching cheerleader Melissa in TNA is not the worst thing you can do.
I liked her more on MySpace.
All right.
She had a big presence on MySpace.
I don't remember cheerleader Melissa's presence on MySpace.
I've read about it on the Wikipedia.
Oh shit! You have. I'm not. See, my Wikipedia is blocked.
Oh dang! I know why. You kept just writing that sentence you're not allowed to write on Wikipedia.
Yes. I am
just in the footnotes, you'd be like, "Hey, this I didn't edit anything, but I do want to do this real bad."
We cut. This is a weird segment. We cut to the gym.
Love it.
Masquerita Sagrada is in there pumping weights as the Rabbit Tribe approaches. Now, they haven't been on TV, so just a quick reminder to everyone. I fucking love these guys. Uh-huh. Very quickly became my favorites in the temple. Paul London and his merry trio of they seem to be really into psychedelic drugs is the best way to describe them right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the White Rabbit Tribe, the Rabbit Tribe approach Masquerita Sagrada. Paul's hands suggest he could have said this line while throwing up a bunch of glitter, and I kind of wish he did. Just the way, when some people just have an energy about them that feels like they should be throwing glitter.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Paul says, "We found you, the White Rabbit," before all three tribe members go into a Wayne's World amount of bowing in front of Masquerita. And I love, and Masquerita, he's fucking baller as hell here.
Yeah.
He just waggles his finger and goes, "No, no, no." And Paul's he hammers home that, "No, Masquerita Sagrada, you are the White Rabbit. You are our spiritual leader and guru and God." And he asks Masquerita, "Please accompany us to the ring tonight to ensure our victory." And Masquerita, once again, waggles his finger, says, "No, no, no," before telling them, "You're all crazy," and then walking away.
This is one of my favorite tropes. It doesn't happen a lot, but the non-receptive God figure is so funny. I love it because, especially when they are an actual God or this omnipotent being, and they're like, "Don't worship me." No. Ugh.
Yeah, if you've been a while, you're catching back up with us. Just a quick reminder that Masquerita Sagrada is just a dude. He's just a dude. He is not a god.
I'm just a dude.
Hell yeah. I like It makes me excited. I'm kind of bummed because it means they're a little lower on the card, which makes sense. They're he's Paul is new to the company, but
so was Puma, and he became champ.
Puma was
Puma from day one was like
I was gonna say, but I'm excited because I love how not seriously he seems to not take himself, and who knows, maybe there was a big old fight. For all we know, there was a big old fight with a bunch of producers that he finally agreed to do this segment. I don't think that's the case. That doesn't seem to be the impression I get about Paul London as a person. He seems to be a very grounded, down-to-earth guy who doesn't mind looking silly if it's good, if it's good. And I love this is a very silly segment. And thank you, Paul London, for looking silly for us. And it does lead us to the next match. The Rabbit Tribe versus the Reptile Tribe.
And the Rabbit Tribe is coming to the ring in such a skirt the line of copyright White Rabbit cover.
Yeah, they did that. And it's the same one they debuted with as well.
I didn't notice it first. Maybe I didn't have headphones on. I might have been watching it on the TV with Nicole. But no, in headphones, you can tell it's almost being able to be sued by whoever owns Janis Joplin music.
Well, it would be Jefferson Airplane.
It's still Janis Joplin music.
No, it's Grace Slick. They are two different people.
Wait, she does it. Janis Joplin isn't in.
No.
Wowzers. I'm today old learned.
Wow. James thinks all women who sing rock and roll in the 60s are Janis Joplin. Wow.
Oh, wait, no, I just Googled it. Pseudonym was the one you just said is for Janis Joplin.
Grace Slick is a pseudonym. Wait, does it say Grace Slick is a pseudonym for Janis Joplin?
Yeah.
Or does it say whatever name that Sean just said?
Whatever name Sean just said. It is listening to me.
Those bastards. Those AI listening bastards.
Janis Joplin is still alive as Grace Slick?
Is Grace Slick still alive?
Yeah. She's 85, baby.
Hell yeah. 85 years young and still kicking it.
And 85 years hung. Yay.
The Reptile Tribe, which is their queen, Cobra Moon, Pindar, and Vibora, also are accompanied by Drago in chains, for they have stolen Drago, their runaway general, a one-time member of the Reptile Tribe who over a millennia ago said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," but has been captured and has been held captive in their lair for some time now. He comes to the ring with them, chained up to the neck. Cobra, who is billed for this match, the match is billed as Cobra, Pindar, and Vibora. She waggles her fingers, Sonic, aka the White Rabbit, Masquerita Sagrada style. She says, no, I am not wrestling. Drago, get in there. So she takes off his chains, and the match is going to be the Rabbit Tribe, Paul London, Mala Suerte, and excuse me, I wrote him down later in the match, and I don't have it immediately.
Viboro?
No, the third member of the Rabbit Tribe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot you're not doing edits, so you can't make me sound
editing.
smart.
You don't need to just say the White Rabbit Tribe and the Reptile Tribe.
I know. I do need to look up his name because it's going to bum me out.
Well, while you look that up, I really wish I knew any Alice in Chains song, because then I could do it like a parody of one of their songs, but change a word to a dragon or something, because when you said Drago in Chains, I was like, yeah, man, it's like Alice in Chains.
Hell yeah. What if Drago real name was Alice and he was the inspiration for Alice in Chains?
Or Alice in Wonderland. Is Alice in Wonderland, or is Alice in Chains a riff on Alice in Wonderland? Because those drugs are what chains her to Wonderland.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because when I'm in chains, I am in a state of wonder.
Oh.
Because I'm into kinky shit.
I'm not, man. I'm milk toast, guys. Even though that's what I think, and then Nicole's like, no, you're not, James. That you just think that's normal because that's what you love. I was like, oh, okay.
That's a good, you know what? That's actually a really good outlook on our lives in general.
Yeah.
The next time you're getting down on yourself for being because I'm assuming that none of us really want to be very milk toast. We all want to be exciting. Remember, your milk toast is someone else.
Yeah.
If you think about it. Also shouts out to Saltador. Mala Suerte, Paul London, and Saltador. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. The match is happening now. Mala Suerte and Pindar, they open up. After a big Rana, Mala tags both of his partners. This is one of the things I love about the Rabbit Tribe. Their silly bastardness. Because this goes on through the entire match. Anytime one of them needs to tag out to a partner on the outside, the tribe, the rabbits, they tag in both partners at the same time. So they both come in. So it's a 2-on-1 for a moment. If you're a newer wrestling fan, if you're sitting there thinking, is that how trio tag matches work? No, it's not. This is not according to the rules.
Which I believe Stryker says, these are double tags. This is not how this works. And so funny. They kept doing it. They are the face version of WWU or Quintuple U.
A little bit, yeah, where they've got very silly scamp energy.
Yeah, but they're not trying to do it to further their own gain. This is just what they are.
Yeah, yes. There's no malevolent ambition behind this. This is just who they are.
There's also a time when they double tag, but the person who's in is still in the ring, and the referee's about to like DQ them because the opponent's on the ground, and they just start going around in a circle, and it's very much like, you can't DQ us. We're not even touching him, and it's so funny.
All their triple team stuff is so funny to me. I don't think I've ever seen this, but like as a triple team maneuver, they just all punch the guy in the head at the same time.
Very cartoony.
It's so good. It's very cartoony and very effective.
I think it was Pendar that Vampiro was talking about of like what his name means, and he's like, we're not talking like Spanish or Latin. We're talking anciently, how it translates. And I'm like, you can't say anciently, dude.
The linguist Vampiro says anciently, and now I do too. Cobra is calling, speaking of the way people talk, Cobra is on the outside calling the shots. After a big power slam to Saltador, she demands Drago finally be tagged in. So now Drago is in this match, and it's interesting. You see I feel like this is what starvation and mental torture looks like, in that like Drago, he's vacant, he's vacant, and he's not 100% there like in spirit, but his mind and his body are here enough to perform. Mm-hmm. So like he's not not even questioning Cobra or even resisting the reptiles. He's just, yes, of course. Like this is what he has to do to survive. So like he's hitting the moves and he's doing them effectively. His mind's here, his body's here, but there is not a fire in his eyes, if that makes sense. The spirit is not here.
Yeah. Because he likes the White Rabbit gang. He's like, if we could do quintuple matches, I'd want you guys, or I guess it would be sextuple matches, I'd want you guys in the corner along with my best friends Aerostar and Phoenix.
Yeah, I heard he was thinking of changing his name from Drago to Rabo.
Oh, Dame. A Dame? Yeah, the Dame Duty Dench. I'd love that.
Dame Duty Gench is here tonight, and she is so stoked to sit in the front row and watch this. They did in the first match, they're doing in this match. The ring around the Rosie spot.
Yeah, this was
You've mentioned this already, yeah. It's so funny.
You can't DQ us. We're not touching him.
And they do it to Drago, someone who like at the time was pinned to be a world champion. If this company was still going today, he would have been world champion probably at least twice over by now. And to see Drago lying in the middle of the ring, beaten, because I forget what move was just before this, but like battered and bruised. And then they link hands and they skip to the side in a circular motion. And Drago looks so confused and a little afraid.
What if that was them trying to break the spell that she had on him?
Possibly. Or that's a good point. I love it, but I also want to be realistic. I don't think any of them have that much foresight.
No, doing drugs give you a lot of spirituality, okay? So they would know that the Serpent Tribe kills the rabbit tribe. But maybe we find out that Drago left because he was done killing others, that he was a champion of the prey of the predators in all these tribes. So he was a champion of them. And now, hey, we need to get him back on our side.
If there was going to be a storyline where we find out years later that happened a millennia ago and that Paul London was also a millennia years old.
I'm not saying that.
If it were though, I would go out of the door right now and sue the shit out of Robert Rodriguez for canceling this series.
Oh yeah.
Because that would be if it's just like, yeah, these millennia old powerful figures of Lucha Libre, of Phoenix, Drago, the man from outer space, Aerostar, and Paul London, I would just, yes, of course, simply yes.
Oh, maybe Paul London, maybe he is in a sense a Ra's al Ghul type, where he has to be like dunked into a Lazarus pit. Guys, it's been a while since we went Batman on you.
Welcome to Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, the only Batman podcast that pretends to be a wrestling podcast.
In a lot of Ra's al Ghul arcs, it always like ends with him, like if you go like into the future, it ends with him pretty much like going mad because you can only dunk yourself in there so many times. But he's also not doing drugs to offset that madness. I wonder if like this is kind of like you do this drug and it keeps you young and alive, but it does eventually like make you like just feel like you're always high. I don't know. That'd be really cool. And if we're saying he's a millennia year old, or he's just like his soul is transferring from body to like keep young, which is what Ra's al Ghul was trying to do with Damien and all that. It was really messed up.
I kind of like, which is why we would, because at this point we're kind of, I guess it's hard to call them hard baby faces or heels. At this point, the rabbit tribe just kind of exists.
Yeah.
If they were to go the soul vessel route, they would be pretty heel.
Yeah.
But I think that's what Dario's already doing. So I kind of like the idea. I like the idea of like a Lazarus pit, but that is a psychedelic drug.
Yeah.
And that it drives you, like the problem being that it drives you slowly mad. Like you become more and more the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Which is what Paul London is in this group.
Hey, it doesn't drive me mad and it doesn't make me feel, or wait,
Go ahead.
Makes me feel young, but it ain't driving me mad, guys.
Hell yeah. You are talking about
It's psychedelics.
Nice. Okay.
Marijuana's a psychedelic, kinda. And I've done
Kinda, yeah.
shrooms once, and we will be doing, the next time I do shrooms will be for an episode of Death to Squids, where
Are you
Jose
really?
and I are going to get rip-roaring high on shrooms and try to record a podcast.
I can't wait.
You're like, I don't listen to those episodes just because I don't have time, but I will make the time for that episode.
I don't tell the people my business like that.
They're like, oh, we know what Sean's doing that day when it drops. Actually, you
Right.
don't. I would send him a Google Drive link a few days before it goes live, okay?
Yeah, you fuckers. Don't try and guess my movements. I'm everywhere you think I'm not.
Yeah, do you
Turn
want
around?
Do you want preferential treatment? How about you be good at podcasting and ask me to do a podcast with you, and then I'll give you preferential treatment.
Yeah, it's actually not that hard.
Or maybe become a patron on patreon.com/MLM pod. I'll send you a link to things that aren't released in the main feed.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, guys, you can do this super easily. I believe in all of you. Paul is now cornered by the reptiles. I'm sorry. I love this. So yeah, after the ring around the Rosie spot, the psychic damage to Drago is so intense that he has to tag out. So he tags out to Vibora, the largest of the reptiles, a man who has been chanted in this episode and will be chanted for years to come as Luchasaurus. Woo! The three rabbits turn around and they cannot believe the sheer size of this Luchasaurus, who clears house immediately. It's a great just slow turn of like, oh, he's a big boy. And then just Vibora going to town on them all.
Uh-huh.
Paul, he's now cornered by the reptiles. Pindar even distracts the ref long enough so Cobra can start getting in. She gets she gets a slap and then later a choke with the same chain that Drago came out in. Paul is fighting for his life. It was a rainbow chain. It was a rainbow chain.
He came out in it, guys.
Okay. Good joke.
Thank you.
Yes.
Roy G. Biv style, baby.
Paul head scissors Pindar for his life. To just to get out of this corner finally before double tagging the rabbit style, so that Mala Suerte and Saltador can do the most devastating double team maneuver in the entire trios division at this time, which is Mala goes to the top rope as Saltador holds the opponent and he's back up even further, and coast to not exactly coast. As he just kind of jumps down and then runs. And he tries to hit the running dropkick. However, Pindar escapes. And he dropkicks Saltador instead.
No.
Rabbit on rabbit violence. You hate to see it.
My mom loves to see it, though, because she's allergic.
Oh, she's going to love my new dark web YouTube series.
No.
Rabbit fights. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was like you just stabbing rabbits.
No, what? I would never. Pokemon rules. I'm not allowed to fight the rabbits. The rabbits must fight each other.
The humans are allowed to fight them. It's just not recommended because you will get your shit kicked in.
Pikachu would murder the fuck out of all of you. All of you old millennials who think you're too cool for Pokemon, that's great. I just need you to recognize Pikachu would murder you to death. Pindar and Vibora's double team, the Big Boot Blue Thunder Bomb combo.
Real quick, if I had a time machine, I would go back in time when he was just a Pichu and kick the shit out of him.
All right.
I'd go back in time when he was just an egg and make an omelet out of it.
Same rules. If you do that, as much as it may be deserved, you have to offset the karma by murdering a billionaire.
I find Giovanni. This is before he turned good-ish, and then I just beat him down.
Perfect.
With a 3D printed master ball, I lock his ass away.
Sounds great. I know this, we watched this episode a week ago. Do you remember this Big Blue Thunder bomb spot?
I believe so. The second half of this, when White Rabbit Tribe starts getting their stuff in, it made them look so strong. And I was like, this is art.
They're so good. And I mean, in the second half, the match is beautiful. It's a phenomenal trios match. I want to see them go back at it. And I want to see the Reptile Tribe. This is such a cool fucking finisher. Because I think it's Vibora hits the big boot. I'm going to have to double check to watch as Pindar is spinning the opponent on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. Like he's just spinning this man in the air as the other reptile comes in and kicks him in the face. It's, oh God, I love it. Cobra demands that Drago finish the job as she throws Saltador, the legal competitor, back into the ring to get comboed, neck broken, and pinned. So Drago pins Saltador, wins the match for the Reptiles in 7 minutes and 4 seconds.
And match over, fade to black.
You would think until, as Cobra is rechaining up Drago, Phoenix and Aerostar, the trios champion alongside their friend Drago. They come back to the ring. They're here. They're on the rescue mission. They're here to save their friend once and for all.
And to all the people saying, "Oh, wrestling, it's for the plebes." Like if you watch this and don't say, "Holy shit, I can't believe I just saw what I just saw." It's a feat of athleticism, guys.
It's a beautiful holy shit moment as they just absolutely fuck up Vibora and Pindar. Cobra lets go of the chain. Drago doesn't recognize his friends at first.
No.
It's offsetting. It's scary. The way, again, like this is what mental torture looks like. Like I said it before, and I hope it didn't come across as though I was like, not to downplay that. That was not me making light of that. This is hard to look at a little bit of just this, these three best friends, one of them not recognizing the other two after being kidnapped. Like it's sad. Eventually, like he starts to loosen up. He takes their hand. Yeah.
That's going to be a Jose and I after Death to Squids when you pop up.
Wow.
We're like, huh? Who are you?
I do podcast. I've seen. I've spent many Epismus with both of you. Hold on.
But we'll be on shrooms, so we'll be like, huh?
And then I'm gonna. Wait, I'm trying to think. How do I make myself recognizable to you two while you're on shrooms?
You pull your hair back and say, I'm Jack Nicholson. And we're like, oh, it's Jackster.
Perfect. I'll take it. Drago eventually does take their hands. If you want to hear me sound like Jack Nicholson, pay me money and I'll do it for you. Or listen to that episode of Formulaic. Or pay me money and I'll do it for you. Eventually, Drago does take his friend's hands. But is he really all there? Or has Cobra Moon done some lasting psychic damage? We can only see as time moves forward. We cut back to the gym. s3e18 greets Mack, who enjoyed watching Mack's like, I enjoyed watching you squash that bug, Mariposa. s3e18's like, now I can't wait to watch you squash Johnny. However, Mack has to tell s3e18 the same thing s3e18 told Mack last week before her cage match against Johnny. Mack does not want her out there tonight. He needs to prove that he can become champion on his own. She's all like, but? And Mack chuckles. He's like, no buts, just get your butt home. I can handle this. Cool? And she says it's cool. And they slap up.
The hottest thing that these two do is that handshake they do. It's sexy, guys. Check that out. And I like that s3e18 says Johnny like Yoni, and I'm like, yeah, that dude's a pussy.
That's true. Wait, no, I love him. Well,
Johnny Mundo is.
No, I love Johnny. I don't like Johnny's fans, but we'll get into it in a second.
Oh, wait, he has fans?
And they are me. We go to the locker room, where, speaking of sexy, Dario is in here. He's checking himself out in the mirror of an open locker and approaches Mack. He calls him Mack Daddy. He calls Mack Daddy, the baddest bull in the building, then checks to see if it's cool if he calls him Mack Daddy. Don't fuck you. I hate that. Don't you do that. Don't call me something and then ask if it's cool if you call me it.
Hey, goosey bitch. How you doing? Is it cool if I call you goosey bitch, goosey bitch?
This podcast is over. I'm gonna see if Nicole wants to start a podcast.
You know she doesn't. You know she doesn't.
It won't be about wrestling.
But still, you know she does. Unless it's a podcast where you're like, all right, Nicole, I give you $50 each episode, and that's the podcast. And figure out what you're going to do with that $50. That's actually a pretty sweet idea. You should pitch that to her.
I will. However, it's a lie. It will be about wrestling.
Oh, dang.
Any podcast I do, it's like you and Batman. Any podcast I do is going to be about wrestling.
Yeah. And I got a few Batman omnibuses that I'm reading over Christmas break. I'm pumped for that. Not hanging out with family.
Okay.
I'll be in the same room as them as I read.
Mack and Dario in the locker room. Mack informs Dario that after tonight, Dario will be calling him champ. Dario's all, no, I won't, because tonight is not for the title. See, Dario really wants to build up this feud. He wants to get like a war out of these two. So tonight, it's going to be more of a warm-up. Mack's like, I don't need a warm-up. I'm more than ready to kick Mundo's ass. What was that, James?
I loved it when he was like, I don't need a warm-up.
It was cool as hell. Mack had, it's some bullshit. You know what it is? It's management coming up to you being like, hey, no bonuses this year, but good news, we're getting a pizza party. They're like disguising bad news as good news. Like, nah, fuck you. Just tell me. If you have bad news, tell me the bad news. Don't disguise it as something else. I don't need a warm-up. I'm the Mack.
I got a bonus, and sometimes the manager buys me Arby's.
See, yeah, but that's because your place of business and employment seems pretty fucking cool.
Yeah,
and
I love
at the very least, yeah, healthy as hell.
Except all the dust, that's unhealthy for these lungs.
That's fair. It's old, but it's cool as hell. And a great fucking spot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chicago Comics, baby. Dario says it's good because tonight's match is not just a warm-up. It's still there are stakes. The winner of the match between Johnny and Mack tonight will determine the stipulation for their title match. So win or lose, Mack still gets his shot at Johnny. Just does he get to determine the stipulation?
I was hoping spoilers, if Mack had won, what do you think he would have stipulated the next match, like the championship match, to be?
Okay. You know what? I wonder if this... Okay, so it's not a match rule type. It's a match setting.
Okay.
It's a one-on-one match for the championship, at the next gathering of the Juggalos, baby.
Okay.
Johnny's fucked. Johnny's not getting out of there alive.
Yeah, his hair can't handle all the Faygo being sprayed in there.
Absolutely not. It's going to be a sticky mess of a mane.
I would have thought it'd be a bull rope match. Is that when they're like tethered together?
Yeah. They're tied by the wrist with bull ropes.
Yeah, because Johnny's thing is like he needs distance. But Mack, when he's up close, they bring it up in the match. Like that's where he thrives in. And if he had won, that's what he would have done and would have taken Johnny to Slam Town.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what Mack always says, and he says to Dario right before they leave. Always, if you're a gambling man, always bet on Mack. And we go to this the headliner match tonight. Johnny Mundo versus the Matt. The Mack? The Mack. I said the Matt because my first note is Matt Striker complains about Johnny's social media presence since becoming champ. He calls it nauseating. And that's bullshit because I cannot recommend following Johnny Mundo, aka Johnny TV, on social media enough.
Well, that's Johnny TV. What was Johnny Mundo in 2016? He was probably saying like, Pokemon don't go to the polls. Come see me live at the temple instead.
You can do both, guys. Don't listen to Johnny Mundo in 2016.
Not how fast these tickets are going.
Wow. James, if you had the choice between voting or going to a wrestling show, do both. I'm not even going to ask you. I'm just going to tell you to do both.
Like in 2016, my vote didn't matter, really. So,
your votes never matter. Vote local and shoot billion. I can't say this. It's going to become the new... vote local and main Luigi in Mario Party. That's how you say it. And play as Luigi.
And look in the crowd this match. There might have been a Juggalo kid in the crowd, possibly.
I'm sure there's probably at any given wrestling show there's probably at least a Juggalo.
Well, yeah. Also, like Vampiro and Mack excluded. Is there a Juggalo in the crowd? Probably, but I think he had face paint on.
Oh shit! I might have missed that guy. Let's go.
But it was just for a quick flash. Someone let me know. Were you that Juggalo kid? Marshland Media on Instagram.
Please, all Juggalos, come to us and let us know, and we'll high five you.
And now you need a drink because you said come.
Only when I'm doing it. Johnny's taking his time with Mack. He gets very lippy before faking a lockup and just punching Mack in the face. This is really the only time Johnny is ahead. Is that little opening exchange when he gets lippy. This match I was surprised by how much Mack was in the driver's seat. Because one of the things Johnny does so well is adapt. Like if he's the bigger wrestler out of the two, he has a power game. If he's the smaller wrestler out of the two, he has a speed and aerial game. His strikes are very good. Like, does he prefer keeping at a distance than he does like fighting up really close? Sure, but again, his entire time with this company and in general, in his career, he's incredibly versatile.
Yeah.
And he's always so good at finding these counters. And I'm saying all of this now because he has no counter for the Mack. Like, this entire match, it is the Mack. Anytime Johnny tries to get a strike exchange going, Mack hits harder. Johnny's trying to get his grappling game going. He's trying to get Mack down to Slam Town. Mack already has real estate there.
Yeah.
Mack has a whole condo complex set up in Slam Town.
No, he has all the streets. He owns those.
He owns the streets of Slam Town. Even aerially. Which we love to talk about how aerial and how the lucha influence in Mack's work. Mack flies harder than Johnny flies in this match. And I'd love, it was so cool seeing Johnny just have no answers for this competitor who, again, until recently wasn't necessarily a main event guy in the company. And now is, and it's so apparent, and he's so good.
And people are loving him when he does the people's elbow, then dabs afterwards. The crowd goes nuts.
Hell yeah. Except, and this is my problem, it's not the crowd. It really sounds like one or two very loud guys who are cheer for whoever you want at a wrestling show, but also just have the social awareness to like follow the rhythm that the wrestlers are trying to tell.
I will do some pushback there because when it was Sexy versus Johnny, I believe, and then Sexy was helping out a fan in crutches, I was like, well, yeah, obviously that's
that was Taya.
Yeah, Taya. I was like, it's not Valkyrie. That's her. What's her first name?
Taya. Yeah.
My assumption is that it sounded like two very loud fans in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, two people who are dudes screaming for Johnny, and then maybe those two come out at the end. It might have been our boys, the Darewolf and Jack Evans, just screaming about Johnny the entire time.
It might be. And yeah, if you guys haven't picked up, there are two fans who are cheering for Johnny. In a way that becomes distracting. Like at some point, the temple starts chanting, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, no, and that would make sense. If it is that aggressive, it is 100% those two screaming it.
I don't, possible, but if it was, we would have cut to them. It would have made apparent. Like, I think, because if you're going to do something like that that's distracting from your show, which I would say by like if the actual fans are not cheering for the match and instead are booing other fans, it's a distraction.
Okay,
right.
I'll push back even more on this. This is how the match, as you said, Johnny's getting nothing in. So two people to be cheering that vocally for Johnny is the crowd's like, what match are you watching? So then they get pissed at those people. And then because they're like, well, clearly the Mack's going to win. Like he's getting this shit in. And for them the crowd entirely to be disappointed because possibly these two people who have been cheering go into the ring and fuck Mack up, then it's like, oh, wow, we are all pissed at this. And maybe I'm guessing it wouldn't have been. There's a likelihood that this match wasn't that long, right?
I think it was the longest of the night. Let me double check the time. 8 minutes, 41 seconds.
Okay, so
it's not that long.
It is likely that this could have been the first match that was filmed today, like on this day. And then the last match is the championship match. So the crowd could have been like, fuck, we hate Johnny so much. And then all of a sudden, the last match is, the crowd would be like, wait, no, the Mack has to win now. We just saw him be such a shit heel with his two dweebus friends who have been being a nuisance this entire time. I don't know. I could see some validity in getting the crowd so pissed at them only to turn it around on the next episode that could have maybe been filmed the same night. I will look on that. Yeah. But Sean, finish up this match. I
love this conversation, and I want to agree with you before I push back. I'm sorry we're not done with this conversation yet, but it's too good. But first I want to agree with you because that would be a great story. If they did tell that story of like there are two fans who are cheering for the bad guy, and it's like, oh, these guys are so annoying. Oh, they're the teammates of the bad guy in place. Like that would have been great.
Sean,
I would have loved that. Yes.
Both filmed April 24th, 2016. That's what they were doing. It has to be that. Yes, baby.
But they don't show it on television at all.
Yeah, right? but if we showed it, that would mean that the crowd is then wise to know that this isn't just two shitty fans. These are like two plants. Like we know that those are the people there, and then showing it on camera would make it known to even the crowd, like, oh wait, who are they focusing on? Oh, it's those two dweebuses.
But that is your prestige. Like if this was a magic trick, that is your prestige. Like that's where all your heat is. If you're gonna take that time to build up this heat, that there are two dweebuses in the audience cheering for the bad guy. Oh shit, they're working for the bad guy. Like we need that oh shit moment. Otherwise, at best, it's kind of flaccid because nobody knows what's going on. Like you did a lot of work to make that storyline happen, and I appreciate that. And it's a great storyline if they had done that. But because they didn't show it, and my other thing is because I have been to wrestling shows where people do kind of, they don't pay attention to the show. And sometimes they hijack. I don't know if I told the story of the Ballpark Brawl. This was a super indie show back in Buffalo. And it's the first time I think I ever saw Samoa Joe, which was insane. Y'all know how I feel about Samoa Joe.
Who?
Samoa motherfucking Joe.
Okay. Oh, okay, that guy.
I apologize. I did not use his full name.
Yeah.
But I remember going, and there were a couple guys who were being like smart alecky little fans, cheering for the bad guys, and specifically in a way that was like, you'd have to be it wasn't cheering for anything happening in storyline. It was just cheering for things like, again, bad guys and things you would have to know by reading the dirt sheets, and more importantly, doing it in a very ironic way. Mm-hmm. Like there was no sincerity behind this. And I remember, and it really did the entire, because they had brought their championship belts, me, my brother, and our friend Bob, I was the oldest of us. I was probably 14. We just have like regular leather belts, like hold up your pants belts. And we all take off our belts, the three of us, and we start holding them in the air. Like, yeah, we got belts too. And the entire crowd turned around and cheered for us instead of those assholes. It's the best thing I've ever done. But like...
Oh, no, you once brought up friendship fatalities on this show, Sean.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I got two favorite things I've ever done.
I want to give one final pushback on this.
Okay.
In the aforementioned Taya spot,
yes,
you did they didn't make a show of like, hey, this is Taya. Who those people we could hear like not like be like, oh, screw you, Sexy Star. They were booing Sexy Star. And you were like, oh, shoot, like they got you. But I saw Taya and I was like, well, oh, yeah, that's Taya. Of course they're the ones cheering Johnny. But
they did like announce like she unmasks and reveals herself.
But the unmasking is them going into the ring and taking out Mack.
I would argue if it was them, the unmasking needs to be, we need a shot, or at least announce the announce team. Someone needs to acknowledge.
Like, oh, who has been screaming, and then, or as they're running to the takedown Mack, but then if they're screaming, it would, because isn't it the referees looking away as they're getting their shit in?
Yeah, the referees distract, like they don't actually, I don't think neither of them get into the ring. The referee stops both of them. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it would have been great if as they were running to be like, hey, we love Johnny. Like, then it would have been like, oh, they've been the ones screaming that all along. But we don't have time to keep relitigating this. Let's go to the end.
No, let us know what you think in your hearts and in our messages.
And if Mr. Justin referee's listening, you'll weigh in, huh?
And if you, Justin Borden, you're listening, but you don't have an opinion on the subject right now because you don't remember it, hey, just tell us how you're doing. It's good. I hope you're doing well, bud. This match is so fucking good. I honestly just have a lot of we spent a lot of time talking about what it means to like hijack a show. At the end of the day, don't hijack shows. Follow along the rhythm that the storytellers are telling, and follow and just have a little bit of social awareness. And that's good advice for anything, not just going to wrestling shows.
So they come to the ring side and they're distracting the ref.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I have so many notes. It's very good. You know what? Just go out and watch it, y'all. Mm-hmm. Go out and watch this one. Eventually, PJ and Jack Evans, they're distracting the referee. Johnny, and again, I cannot stress enough how this is the only time he gets really 80 advantage. Every time Johnny's thinking like, oh, this is my moment, Mack has a catch-as-catch-can style counter. Johnny's like, oh, I'll escape to the outside. Oh no, Mack's gonna follow me and suplex the shit out of me on the floor. Johnny cannot escape the Mack. And it's such a good story being told until PJ and Jack Evans, they run to the ring, they distract the referee, while Johnny, he can't take Mack to Slam Town, so he just takes him to Dick Kick City, baby.
Well, wasn't there also that time when the referee must have been hit or distracted, and The Mack like pins Johnny, and then I love that Striker counted to 6, and then he kicks out, and I love that Striker. He does this quite frequently. He counts because he's like, no, this should have been in the other person's favor, but unfortunately the ref was preoccupied.
Yeah, that does happen. I forget what move that was after, but Mack pins the shit out of Johnny, and there's a distraction. Which is like, you could say that's an advantage of dirty play, but it's not like a wrestling advantage, right? Mack's he's not winning, unfortunately, but he's not taking any damage. Yeah. He's not getting hurt. Like, physically, it's all Mack. Like, the few times Johnny gets advantage, it's by playing dirty.
I would love to see a wrestler who is like, hey, I am a technico. I'm going to like play by the rules. I'm a babyface, whatever. But when a heel tries to get one over on that to like, oh, I hit the ref and you're try and pin me now. While they're on the ground, they just kick them in the head over and over again until the ref is aware. And then it's like, all right, now I'm going to pin you. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Fuck you for doing that.
That would actually be really cool. It's
like they have the spatial awareness of like, no, the referee is down. I am going to take full advantage as you thought you were going to take full advantage of this. I'm fucking you up for a while.
There is something. I'm like, no, let's talk about this now because the match is over. Johnny wins 8 minutes 41 seconds. There is something I think it comes to niche culture where we accept a lot of things, like, you know, comic book logic, where like certain things in other stories we wouldn't accept, but as comic book fans, if it happens, we're like, oh yeah, of course. You know, Captain America died how many times and has come back. It's certainly like so any sort of that niche logic. It happens a lot in wrestling. Where like, why wouldn't he do this? Oh, because it's a wrestling match. We just accept wrestling logic. There's also something, and Craig Euler will tell you all about, playing to the height of your intelligence. It's like an improv thing where like, you know, don't go in and just like make a dumb, you know, play your character dumb because that's the world or like whatever. Like, no, like play to the height of your intelligence. If you know something, if you see something, play with that. And it's at any time we see wrestlers playing to that height of intelligence, you can argue a lot. You know, some people are doing that right now. Jon Moxley and his Death Riders, the way they jump people is very calculated and very intelligent. To see a wrestler do that, of like, oh, the referee's distracted, instead of going for the pin, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of them for like in a very mean, probably not legal way.
Yeah.
Until the ref turns around. That would be. Anytime I see a wrestler play the height of their intelligence like that, it is so satisfying. And it's because it defies expectations. And it's an expectation that a lot of the times those niche logic moments, they become tropes. You know, they become cliches. I shouldn't say tropes. They become cliches. And like to see someone break cliche is very satisfying.
And you know, like when it usually happens, someone that is friends with the villain is distracting the ref on the outside of the ring. If the good guys just starts kicking them in the head instead of going for a pin, all of a sudden the people on the outside, the villains, instead of saying like, look at me, they'd be like, wait, no, look over there.
Yeah.
He's doing bad things.
There's also something, and I think it comes from like the defying expectations when the bad guys are afraid of the good guy, like specifically in that way of like, we really got, oh God, oh no, we were joking. He's help, police. I need an ambulance and a priest, help. Like there's something I love that.
It happens a lot with like anti-heroes like, Deadpool, or I've seen it a lot with Ghost Rider where they think like, oh, he's not gonna harm us because he's a hero. And it's like, oh, you have this wrong, sir.
And when you first described this, you know who I was thinking of?
Who?
The number one anti-hero in professional wrestling, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. Like that sounds like such a Stone Cold move to be like, you know, DX is distracting on the outside. Oh, what the hell? Fuck you. And then he just, instead of falling for the pin, No, he just grabs a chair and he chokes you to death. Like, that is a very anti-hero. It would have to be an anti-hero. Though there is something, I mean, Puma's kind of in this realm now.
Yeah.
Of like a Technico who is beginning to embrace that dark side.
Because that's also technical to say hey, you want to know what? It's not against the rules to try and distract me, and people do it all the times, and it's a folly to all the good guys. I'm going to take this out of the equation. This is just wrestling. Stop. And if this is part of wrestling, that's a technique that I need to try to figure out a way to subvert it. I'm just going to get my shit in while the ref is distracted.
When the ref is distracted and there are no rules, what are the rules to follow to win? And that's something you should take with you while you're playing as Luigi in Mario Party.
Oh, I really liked it in the end where Johnny's like on top of the Mack as the Mack's arms are being held out by PJ and Jack.
There is a post-match beatdown.
Yeah, he just, whips his hair around and he goes, "You suck, bro." And it's like, no, he doesn't. You absolute shit person. No, you sucked this match and you only won because you got an illegal dick kick on him.
Yeah. The exact quote, because I ended up writing this down, is, "Hey, Mack, you suck, bro." And it is so the way Johnny talks down to the Mack in this post match, and he's out of breath, but he's doing all of this with a grin because he has the Worldwide Underground watching his back. It's so fucked up. He said, "Yeah, you don't deserve to be in the same ring as me." He calls him a fat piece of crap before doing the worst kind of kind of laugh, like that George Bush. He's evil. This Johnny Mundo is a menace, and he must be stopped. That being said, I love him, and don't get me wrong, he's still one of my favorites.
And fingers crossed, in 2 episodes, he does get it taken down.
Oh my gosh, he needs to. He says he's gonna promise to take his fat ass to Slamtown. And he sets the stipulation here. He says Mack could barely last 10 minutes, and there is no way you can last all night long.
Ooh.
Which I think, I don't know if you remembered this, I think is what they called their Iron Man match.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, was that Puma and Johnny last
I thought it was Cuerno
1?
and Johnny.
No, was it Cuerno? I think you might be right. I thought Johnny was the bad guy in it.
I will check this without seeing results all night long again. You keep going.
So, the fans chant Cuerno before the Worldwide Underground triple curb stomp the Mack. Johnny calls Mack a fat piece of crap, a fat piece of trash this time, before out comes Mil Muertes. And the Worldwide Underground scurry the fuck out of there. They want no part with Mil. The refs get Mack out of the ring, so Mack is out of there as well. And who is Mil out here for then? Well, that answer is revealed to us very soon, as Mil does a full sprint and body checks Vampiro behind the announce table. It's like if this is an old Sabres memory, but I think it was Brad Marchand, who was playing for the Boston hockey player, was playing for the Boston at the time. He gets a really dirty hit on our goaltender, and people are like, they freak the fuck out. It's like if Mil Muertes was a dirty hockey player trying to get an illegal hit on the goaltender. That's how he body checks Vampiro. Puma comes out. Excuse me, I'm ahead of myself. Mil pounds Vampiro some more, sends him into the ring, starts beating him up in the ring, and that's when Puma comes down to make the save. Vamp gets Vamp in the position. Mil is about to flatliner him as Puma is on the apron, and you hear this is the shit. Vampiro just screams, "Puma, no!" And Mil hits the flatliner and leaves the ring. Afterwards, Puma comes in to check on his fallen master. And this is so subtle. I wish they had zoomed in on this. He goes to chase after Mil, but Vampiro, laid out on the ground, grabs Puma's ankle and stops him. And he just holds him back, and it's such a powerful moment that we close the episode on there.
Yeah. And real quick, it was Prince Puma and Johnny in the last all night long match, which is cool. Whoever gets the most pins in the night wins.
Yep, which is another an Iron Man match.
All right, hell yeah. And speaking of Iron Man, that's comic books, and I'd like to go to Chicago Comics on Belmont and Clark, 3244 North Clark Street, baby. That means North Clark. But what do you have to plug, Sean?
You know what? You can always check out Goose Von Kaiser, twitch.tv. I want to plug, go to Chicago Comics over on North Clark.
Oh, yeah.
North Clark. Yeah, it's so cool. You can see Craig Euler there and then whisper his names to your family and friends.
Ooh. If you go and say, hey, I heard about you guys from Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, James's podcast, they'll freak out. They'll be like, holy shit, he's doing it. He's really bringing people in.
Yeah. Go do that. Or if you say, I heard of you guys from, I don't have a joke. I thought I would come to me in the moment. Let's get out of this episode.
Man, Craig Euler would be upset right now.
I know he doesn't listen to this podcast. And if you do, Craig, I'm so sorry.
Hey, guys, listen to Pissmas. It's a beautiful time. Listen to all the Pissmas episodes.
I sing on the Pissmas this year.
Yeah, you did the Pissmas Carol, baby.
Yeah, it was a blast.
And head over to patreon.com/MLM Podboard for $5 a month. You get exclusive content every single Friday. This Friday is another pilot episode of Magical Meatball Girls, where we're starting a series, but not really yet. This is a true pilot where we are discussing Cardcaptor Sakura episode 1. When it finally starts, when Spider-Man's done over on Mostly Speaking Sentai, we're going full deep into, we're going fully, I was like, do not say what you're about to say, James. We're going fully into the series Sailor Moon.
Thank you so much. Now I know what you were going to say, and I'm so grateful you did not say it.
And $10 patrons get all of that plus monthly bonus exclusive content in the form of straight to Patreon or watch-alongs, which we're doing this month as Grandma got ran over by a reindeer with Sean, Torchy, and I. And there's a surprise in that episode, so be on the lookout for that. And $10 patrons get shout-outs on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Steve F., Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z. The Waz, Ryan, my Bickle brother and common law, Joshua, Jake, Steve Barnes, a sweet child of time, my mother, Lil Core's BFF and now former roommate Shane, twitch.tv/Core Winning, it's Corwin from the Rom Complex, as well as Formulaic, a podcast and script writing, it's twitch.tv/R2 Shelby2, and from Speed Radio, a podcast all about Sonic the Hedgehog, it's Zinny D, aka Tay. I've been James.
And I've been Sean, and this has been Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. Purple Prancer forever, be like Bob.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah.